of excitement. A lot of exhibitors are here. Sold out exhibitor space. If you didn't remember me saying yesterday, sold out exhibitor space. Thousands of attendees, a lot of international presence. It's really exciting. People are ready to show the best of what they've got, and they're ready to meet those people and get in those purchase orders, make those relationships. That's what it's about here at the show. Getting that face-to-face connection is so important. I'm just so thrilled to be here and to share this experience with you in the comfort of your own home. But you should consider coming to future shows. The Specialty Food Association never fails to come out with a great show every winter and every summer of every year. Please head to specialtyfood.com for more information about this organization and also about the shows, how you can attend future shows. But we're going to have a great show today. You're going to see it all. We're going to have great interviews, great insights, lots of on-the-ground reporting. You're going to see the wonderful pavilions that have been set up here at the Javits Center. We're here ourselves at the Noon NX Pavilion, which is where we can see a lot of what's coming up in the specialty food industry, a lot of the startup companies, a lot of incubation organizations, really encouraging up-and-coming brands, to get some spotlight time here. Really exciting. But, with every new company, with every new generation, there's always generations before it that upon which their accomplishments and their achievements, can be learned from and can be gleaned from and honored. And that's what SFA likes to do. It's a community. They like to honor those, people who have made significant contributions as well as paved the way for newcomers. And so last night, SFA had their Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and they had their Lifetime Achievement Awards. So we're going to bring up some of that footage right now. And it was just a wonderful show last night. As you can see, Bill Lynch, the president of SFA, honoring the Hall of Fame recipients, as well as the Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. There's Alain Central of Le Trois Petits Cochons, such an amazing guy, credited as bringing pate to America, such a wonderful person, what a great event, just recognizing people who have made significant contributions to the community, who have been successful in their own right, and have made such an impact on the industry. And I am so happy and proud to announce that we have one of those figures right here with us, a 2023 Hall of Fame recipient, inductee, the great Dave Hirschkup of Dave's Gourmet. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to do these kind of interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, so excited that you could be here with us. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about Dave's Gourmet.
Yeah, so I'm an ugly guy from California. I've been doing this for like 30 years. I had a restaurant in College Park, Maryland, and we all had drunk people come in. And I don't like drunk people. So I made really hot sauces to screw around with them. And somehow I figured out how to make the hottest sauce in the world. And so we made this sauce. We burned a lot of drunks. We got banned from the National Fiery Food Show. Some guy had a minor respiratory incident. New York Times picked up on it. Became like a media storm. And then, a spicy food company became a sauce company, became a specialty food company. And, I had it for almost 30 years and sold it a year and a half ago.
Right.
But it was amazing, like all sorts of crazy media and awards and all sorts of amazing people, and getting to like have an idea and just bring it to life and see consumers either like grimace or love it or all the various reactions. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you summarized it right there. Decades for you of experience, developing your product, marketing, selling, being at shows like this, being a part of SFA, and now, receiving that award last night and looking back after, all the years of experience that you've had. What does it feel like for you? What are your thoughts?
It's kind of surreal because, you're used to coming to these shows, but you're really in the show and you're setting up your booth and you're really thinking of all your goals and you have a bunch of people to manage and you're really like in the weeds to some degree. And here you come and you walk around and you're sort of like floating through with no responsibility. And I also like do a lot of volunteer work, so I mentor other companies, mostly like companies that are disadvantaged and all that. But so I can see sort of like their wide eyes and they're starting out and all the things that they don't know that took a long time to learn. So it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a great atmosphere and it's good seeing everyone's enthusiasm and all the new ideas and but the industry's become, it's pretty competitive. So people really need to be sharper now. There's a lot of money in the industry, so it's competitive in that sense too. But I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of young in a way, so I've got more to do.
I know. You didn't come on stage with the walker or anything. I mean, you still got some life left to you.
Yeah, I'm sort of halfway between coming on stage with Johnny Walker and coming on stage with the Walker. I'm like in the middle part between the two.
That's very well said. Dave, I love what you were just mentioning. It's a new world. Like, there's a lot of things that people have to think about. It's gotten really competitive. I couldn't help but just realize just now, I want to ask you, and you said too, walking the floors without a responsibility, you're not setting up a booth anymore. But seeing these exhibitors, and knowing what you know because you've been through it, knowing that they worked hard to set up their booth and planning and strategizing how much inventory should they bring and who should they target. What do you think are, the top 1, 2, 3 things you think they should be focusing on at this show, in when they're displaying their product, when they're trying to be out there, be the best that they can present themselves?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think everyone should focus on in and out of the show, because I'm a product person, so I see things through a product lens, is there's a lot of items. I mean, every item by its nature is mostly average, because that's what average means. And so a lot of people really need to look at their item through an objective lens, through the consumer's eyes, and say, is it really that special? Is there really a reason for the consumer to buy my item versus the 17,000 other items out there?
Exactly.
And for most people, the answer is no. And if it's no, then it's very expensive to market an average item. So what can you do to make your item stronger? And that's the first thing you need to do. And so that's true at trade shows. That's true everywhere else. At trade shows, I mean, I was talking to someone who's coming to the show, and I was like, "Oh, what's your goal?" And you can see their eyes like go wide, and they had no idea. So come with a goal. You after particular accounts? Are you after retail buyers? You're just trying to get your name out there. So if you're going to come to a trade show, have some goals, know what they are, figure out how you're going to achieve them. And then the other thing is a trade show is a people event. I mean, it's a food show, so it's food forward, but it's really about people. So you need someone in your booth who is extroverted or can be extroverted for periods of time, who's willing to go out and read badges and say hi to people and talk to them and bring them in and really introduce them to your company and its story and its benefits in a very positive way.
Absolutely. Thanks for those insights, Dave. And I do want to ask you, again, even though, you have mentioned, you have since sold your company recently to Gourmerica, was it? Gourmerica. Yeah, to Gourmerica. But, again, as you said, you still have an eye, on the industry. Your eye is still sharp. Seeing the new landscape. Let's talk social media. As I mentioned to you earlier, the Wall Street Journal, they had an interesting article in which Dave's Gourmet was a little involved. They were talking about TikTok and how that is actually directly impacting companies in terms of how they're turning over the manufacturing and the selling of products based on TikTok trends. It's like the whole R&D and distribution manufacturing process sped up times 10. And they brought up one example of Chef P's pink sauce, which Dave's Gourmet, the current state of Dave's Gourmet management, they wanted to invest in that. And they put it out, real quick. I think it was on like Walmart shelves. Dave, what are your thoughts on this new trend of companies working overtime to respond to these types of social media trends? Do you think it's worth continuing? Do you think it's something too risky for companies to pursue specialty food products? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you look at celebrities and celebrity athletes, I mean, they're all making a fortune now on having businesses on the side, whether it's a tequila company or a body care company or a food product. So that's not going to stop anytime soon. So, whether you like it or don't like it, it's happening. And, before it was all about the food item. And then, you marketed it and you did what you could, but you had to have a great food item. Now it's celebrity forward in a lot of cases. So you have the fame and you fill in the food item to make a business out of it. It's, from a food guy perspective, I don't love it, but I do really like it if the food item is solid. Mm-hmm. If they really care enough to create a very good food item that can stand on its own, but it also happens to have the benefit of this amazing celebrity connection. So, like Dave's Gourmet, with the pink sauce, and now they're launching a sauce with Mama Kingston. So another celebrity-related item. But that's a very solid item. It's a very high quality item. So, as long as it's thought through to that level, so it's a real business with a really good item, then I think the celebrity connection is terrific. Um, I think that if you talk to people that do these celebrity-related businesses, one of the cautionary tales is if the celebrity just lends their name and maybe posts twice a year, it doesn't really do that much. You need them to have like really their heart into it and to be really like trying and really helping. And in those cases, like Once Upon a Farm and other things like that,
Great
you
brand,
see,
yeah.
Great item, great people,
Great.
great celebrity who's really like involved. Then it's a super winning formula.
That's a great point. Dave Hirschkup, founder of Dave's Gourmet, 2023 Hall of Fame inductee. Such an honor to have you with us.
Thanks.
Dave Hirschkup, everyone. Thanks again so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Well, now we're going to turn it over to some on-the-ground coverage. We have with us Ron Tanner, our very own Ron Tanner, who is currently at the Sophie Awards product judging booth, and he has a very special guest with us. Take it away, Ron.
Well, thank you very much, Susan. We are here at the Sophie Awards judging booth where hundreds of people have gone by to taste wonderful products. We're going to start by talking to Russell Colodi. Russell is the operations manager for the Specialty Food Association, and he's been working on these Sophie Awards for many, many years, 12 years maybe. He may not even remember how long. So could you tell us a little bit about how the process works, Russell?
So the online applications for the Sophie Awards open up on March 1st of every year. They go until March 31st, and then the judging begins in April, and we house that at Rutgers Food Innovation Center at Bridgeton, New Jersey, and that goes on for a month, and then we announce the winners at the beginning to the middle of May so that everybody can have their awards and be able to bring their trophies to the Summer Fancy Food Show.
And what is happening here at the Summer Fancy Food Show? You haven't been doing the awards at the show for several years, I think.
Right. So what we decided this year was that we were going to bring it back in-house and make it a little more exciting and open it up to the buyers who were attending the show. So what we did was we took the top 5 overall scores from the gold winning categories, and we did the same thing with the new product categories. And we brought them here, and we've got the buyers that are attending the show coming in and doing the final round of judging, and that'll decide who wins Product of the Year for 2023 and New Product of the Year for 2023. And then they'll be announced on the main stage. Nope, not at the main stage, on the Big Idea stage tomorrow morning at 10:30.
Remember that Big Ideas stage tomorrow morning at 10:30. Thank you very much, Russell. We have Kathy Strange, who's the VP of Special Product Development and Innovation for Whole Foods Market. Whole Foods has been an important part of the judging for the Sophie Awards for many years. We've had a lot of Sophie judges from Whole Foods, and I know that you have worked on a lot of competitions. So can you tell me a little bit, what do you look for in new products and innovation that you're going to bring into the Whole Foods stores?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Russell for taking that original judging offsite because it makes a difference to the manufacturer partners, their entrepreneurs, to be tasted in an even environment, not be influenced by outside smells, sounds. I think it was really one of the best decisions the group made. I love bringing it back for the buyers. So for Whole Foods, what we like to see are all the judging points that Russell and his team have put together. We judge the aromatics, we judge the flavor, the textures, the mouthfeel, the appearance of the product, and then of course the ingredients. The ingredients, I think, Ron and Russell, are so important for the best product. But what we also look for in terms of innovation, is it the same company ideating and creating new packaging? Is it the same company following trends either around spices or fruit flavors? What I see this year, I'm very excited about. A lot of fruit, mostly berry. Chocolate still hot. First crop oil. I mean, things that customers, the attributes they really need to learn more about to elevate what we do in the specialty food industry. Very exciting stuff today.
Now, when you were thinking about bringing new products into Whole Foods, how important are awards? The Sophie Awards, I know you've judged lots of other awards. So how important is that to you and to your team when you're determining what you're going to bring into the markets?
Well, overall, any award is a validation of work well done. There may be different criteria about it, but it is very important as we look at products, knowing that that product has already been validated by a team of judges looking for similar components, gives them a little bit of a heads up to come to light. If there are 1,000 in the field and you have 10 award winners, we're going to naturally gravitate to that to understand if that is a true reflection and point of separation. So for differentiation, Ron, we really do take time to look at the award-winning products.
That's great, and it's a good for you, I would think, because there's roughly 1,500 exhibitors here, and I think 1,600 of them want to sell to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to come into your market and wants to be with you, and it's good that you can have that type of selection process. Yeah. That's great. Now, have you seen anything that excites you at the show so far?
Oh, there's so many things. I mean, I'm looking for regenerative. I think for our customers, that's really reflecting. Also, using of spent products, how that's getting back into the marketplace. I'm seeing a lot of very creative ways. I'm seeing new ways of using traditional products, whether they be cherries, berries. I saw an amazing innovative pear product that I'm excited to taste. And of course, as I said, olive oil, first crop. I love that, the green nature of that. Oh, there's a finalist first prize. So I think that and all the new chocolate styles. Who doesn't love chocolate? But what can we do new with chocolate? I'm looking forward to see all about that, Ron.
What have you seen exciting in cheese? I know that you're doing all products now, but you were a cheese specialist for many, many years. What do you see in that category?
Well, I'm really excited about Sweetgrass Dairy coming out of Thomasville, Georgia. They started out as a local producer, and I just really love what Jeremy and Jessica do. They've come up with new products, and the animals are not in barn. They're always out in the field, and that flavor is so unique and complex. So the products I've seen here, and I think they're in a finalist, just dynamic, and a lot of Southern entrepreneurial producers. That's really good to see that it's not always East Coast or West Coast, but we're having Southern producers doing really great things.
And how important is sustainability to your selection of products?
It's very important. I mean, it's a key mantra for us. It's part of our mission to grow and nourish people in the planet. It fits right in with our core values. We're a mission-driven company that we're able to integrate that into the selection of our assortment. And it's what our customers are telling us they want. We're all in line with that mission, Ron.
Oh, that sounds great. You've been having a good time at the Fancy Food Show. How many people here do you know, and how many have you worked with before?
I am going to say a lot, thousands. But I have a rich history of coming since the 80s, and when it was a much smaller show. And there are a lot of people that do amazing things, come up with innovative ideas, go into new businesses. I think it's a great opportunity for us.
No, that sounds great. Do you want to walk by and try a couple of the products? I know you're a good taster. So, okay.
Not blocking you.
Okay.
If you have any questions on anything.
Okay.
Would you like to try the dry cured prosciutto?
Sure.
I don't think you're a vegetarian from what I've seen.
I am not a vegetarian, so what I'm going to do is, this is encased, so I'm just going to open it and get some of the aromatics. And then what I look for prosciutto products, I open it up and I'm looking at the marbling. So I'm actually holding it up to the light and I'm seeing the fat marbling, which will give a lot of the flavor. And then I'll smell it again. Really sweet, nice, very good oils in the product. Delicious, some nuttiness to it, light fruit, all of the components I would want to taste in a good species product like this that's been cured for a bit.
It sounds like that would get a good score from
Well
Kathy
done,
as we
yeah.
go along.
I really
So
enjoyed that.
let's try one more. Why don't we walk down here a little bit? And why don't we, do you want to try some toffee?
Oh,
Go for the toffee.
what's not to love about toffee? Growing up in the South, a big toffee person. So again, it's a little bit hard following the prosciutto, but I'm going to smell, see if that caramel and the chocolate come out. And you know, number one ingredient in toffee should be butter. So I want to have a lot of that butter aromatic. I also will pull out the toffee and crack it. And this cracks quite easily. That means the toffee is in the perfect state. It's not like a brick. It should melt in your mouth to give you some of those flavors. Oh my God, it's delicious. And now I'm getting nuance of a bourbon. And one of really the top bourbons I'm thinking is a little sweetness to it. So maybe Buffalo Trace or maybe Basil Hayden or Buffalo Trace. You know, bourbon's very special to the United States. So I think integrating that ingredient in a product so many people love, the toffee, is going to be a winner. No doubt, Ron.
Thank you. And I know we're moving you from product to product, different tastes, but let's try some olive oil. All right. And this is a first crust olive oil, as you were talking about before.
Oh, wow.
So it's a Greek olive oil. Russell, do you want to help her get the olive oil?
Sure. This is the olive oil.
Awesome. So with the olive oil, typically you want to have it that you can't see the color, because sometimes first crush is green and people think all olive oil should be a certain color, but it changes as it oxidizes. This has a nice, light, really golden color. And first crush typically have grassy notes that are really vibrant and forward because it's the first off the olives. The olives are typically harvested in December from the area of Greece, depending on how warm it's been, of course. And then with olive oil, I want to slurp it over my palate, like suck it in so it goes to the back. Oh my gosh, that is delicious. I would love to use this even as a light finishing oil. It has some unique grassy notes from being first crush. I love it. I can see why it's on this table.
Thank you. And we are going to have you try one more here. So you've got a choice. You can do Gouda, rose petal, and fleur de sel potato chips, or vegan passion fruit mochi ice cream.
Okay, let me do the potato chips because I am a chipster at heart, and I do a lot of pairings with cheese and potato chips. So I always kind of try to know what potato are they using and how it holds up. So nice crunchiness. It is a different oil. It's not an olive oil. It's not a canola oil. Gets a very unique flavor. It looks, oh, it's a sunflower oil. Nice. I'm getting a little bit, it's almost like spicy nuanced at the end, but I'm looking and it says rose extract. And that's interesting. It gives it a very round flavor. But, and the petals look beautiful, but almost look like chilies. Mm-hmm. So it could confuse your mind if you didn't know that, but I think the floral notes really bring that out. And then the sea salt, perfect amount. That's how I judge it. Really good balance. I can see why this is here also. Well done. I love it when it's blind judging.
All blind judging, and which is great because it really lets the flavor come through. So buyers such as Kathy and some others can really, buy it on the flavor rather than buying it on the reputation of the company or the packaging. As we all know, packaging will sell a product once, but it doesn't sell it twice. And Whole Foods does not want a product that only sells once.
Well,
you want something people will come back for.
You want that visceral memory of flavor, and then you don't eat as much. If I remember that and I'm really satiated by it, I'm not going to eat the whole bag. I'm just going to eat a few bits. I'm going to get that unique flavor. I'm going to own that for a while, and I say buy the higher quality products. You eat less. Yeah.
You're a lot more disciplined than Russell and I, because we would eat the whole bag.
You would eat the whole
That's
bag.
kind of my I don't know if it's a downfall, but every day at 5 o'clock, I have a glass of wine and some potato chips.
And you know what I love with my potato chips? Dip them in. Sweetgrass Dairy has an amazing pimento cheese. I just dip my chips in the pimento cheese. Pièce de résistance.
Okay, just think of that. Some potato chips and pimento cheese, a great combination. Kathy, thank you very much for being with us on SFA Live. And Russell, thank you for contributing. We appreciate both of your time. Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to go back to the studio.
Oh, Ron Tanner with Kathy Strange of Whole Foods at the Sophie Award judging area. So exciting, going to judge for Product of the Year and New Product of the Year that they will be announcing the winners of tomorrow, 10:30 sharp, and we will be there live to see those announcements, so you don't want to miss day 3 of our coverage of the Fancy Food Show. I'm going to turn now to a very special guest. She is a friend of ours, and she is the head of one of the heads of a great organization, very community-based organization here in New York. She is Adrienne Delicio, Executive Director of Naturally New York. Adrienne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Okay, so first of all, you got to give us the scoop on Naturally New York. What is it, and what do you do for Naturally New York?
Naturally New York is a community organization that is helping to grow connections and a network in the CPG industry to help propel businesses forward. Since we launched in 2021, we have activated over 700 memberships and have representation now from over 400 companies in the industry. We're extremely proud of the growth that we've had. We've actually doubled in size since last year's Pitch Slam, and definitely contribute a lot of our success to last year's event as well, and how we've just grown over the last year. And, we are actually one of 9 affiliates, part of the Naturally Network, which has also grown in size about 20% since last year. So nationwide, we have about 30,000 stakeholders that are in our network. And I'm just really proud of just the progress that we've made, especially over the last 5 years, even during a COVID climate. I would say that the best thing that we probably do in helping to bridge these connections is our programming. We offer a lot of live and virtual events that educate consumers on all facets of the industry. And at the end of the day, it's all about building connections. So that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. I love it. Building connections, bolstering community, bringing brands together. Very well said, Adrienne. And you did mention a very important event that just started last year in tandem with SFA, a Fancy New York Pitch Slam. Please tell us about this wonderful event.
It is truly a pleasure to be partnering with the Specialty Food Association on the 2nd year of the Fancy New York Pitch Slam. We have 5 finalists that are going to be coming to the pitch stage this year. Ironically, with representation from women, minority, LGBTQ, and veteran-owned brands across all different categories, food, bev, condiments, and we're just really excited. Congratulations to the finalists. I'm just going to quickly shout out Harlem Baking Company, Cocoa Foods, Rosa, Jazzberry, and oh my gosh, say so.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
You did it, guys.
Yes. And thank you to all 15 partners that actually contributed to our prize package, which is valued over $150,000. We couldn't have done it without them.
Absolutely. This takes me back to last year's live stream coverage, where we were fortunate enough to cover this Pitch Slam and have on the winner of last year's Pitch Slam, Stephen Caldwell, a lovely guy, Rossi Stuffs Buds, great energy, great voice.
Great.
He definitely should be doing a podcast. I keep telling him that, and I think he does. He does a little bit of that. But tell me, what is it about this year's Pitch Slam that you're most excited about?
Just honestly, we had double the amount of applicants versus last year. So we probably had about over 60 applicants apply across, again, every single category. Love Steven, so proud of him and his success since last year's Pitch Slam. We're actually bringing him back to the stage today, so you'll be able to hear a little bit more about how his business has grown since then. But, just to be able to give a platform for these early stage brands to share their stories and, maybe inspire other brand founders that are in the room. That's really what I find to be most valuable.
Absolutely, and what a great opportunity for you to really lift up brands, to get them, the best foot forward, a good footing, if you will, in an industry that is becoming increasingly difficult, in today's times with the economic challenges and all that. Adrian, tell me, what are some big challenges that some of your members face, and what, in your opinion, are some strategies that need to be focused on to overcome those challenges?
Currently, our brand community, I would say some of their biggest challenges is fundraising, naturally, no pun intended, connecting with retailers and supply chain management. We're offering right now, Naturally Network and all of its affiliates are, again, creating a lot of resources to kind of help navigate through these challenges. We're providing a lot of unique programming that's covering these topics to help them also, just learn how to course correct as these are tough economic times for a lot of brands. Naturally in New York specifically, we're planning to host retailer pitch days and investor boot camps. We're also building trade show partnerships across every single category so that, we can continue to just get our message out there, drive more awareness to the organization, and support brands across every single category. So a lot more work has to be done, but I think we're off to a great start.
I mean, it certainly sounds like it from what you said, the reach that you guys have been making in such a short amount of time. What are you hopeful for the conscious consumer brands to focus on this year?
Definitely an increase in sustainability. Personally, would love to see more transparency with ingredient labels. I also think just having greater accessibility and affordability for the natural and specialty product industry in the greater New York area even would be extremely valuable. And those are the things I would like to see happen, especially more over the next year.
Absolutely, very relevant things to look out for. Adrian, finally, what are your thoughts, being at this show, 67th Annual Summer Fancy Food Show, sold out exhibitor space, thousands of attendees, personally, how are you feeling being here?
I'm overjoyed. It's an incredible experience. I love seeing new and familiar faces in our network, constantly just growing new connections, and we have some great parties that are happening later this evening to celebrate our successes following the Pitch Slam. So it's a great time to be here.
I gotta say, you guys really put out a good party. We have a couple colleagues that have been like, are you going to Metro New York again this year? It was really good.
Yes, we are completely sold out for everything.
That is what I heard. I mean, job well done. That's what it's about, creating great events, great spaces for community to grow and connect. Adrian Delicio, Executive Director of Naturally New York. Adrian, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Susan. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, okay, now we're going to turn to a very special pre-recorded video. Earlier in the show, right behind me, actually, was a stage where some up-and-coming brands got to pitch, got to show themselves off, got a chance to do it for the first time. It's called the New Now Next pitch session, and we got to record some footage of that, and I think it was really interesting to watch. I was really happy for these brands. I mean, I think for some of them, this was the very first time they got to do kind of a formal presentation of their brand for everyone at the show. So we're going to show you some of that footage, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's take a look.
My name is Lisa Bassini. I founded a company called The Baking Coach, and I'm proud to present to everyone today our edible cookie dough baking activity kits. So these kits are wonderful because they bridge the gap between baking from scratch and a box mix. There's easy to follow step-by-step directions on the back of the bag, and then in addition to that, there's an instructional video. So whatever your ability is of learning, you can bake. What's great about the bags is that they're mess-free, stress-free, all the ingredients are in the bag. You take them out, you add in a stick of butter, a little bit of water, close up the bag, smash it up, and boom, you have cookie dough. So another feature is that they are non-GMO, it's nut-free, it's also vegan, and we have gluten-free options as well. So why don't you come by booth number 4506 and have a sample.
Hi there, good morning everyone. I want to take a chance to introduce you guys to a granola that will allow you to explore flavor like you've never expected, especially from such a mundane breakfast food. My name is Kylie Fields, chef and founder of Forger Granola. So granola has a sordid history, from a tree-hugging hippie food to the most unhealthy, healthy food in the world. What's been so great is the past several years, smaller premium brands have really elevated to much more of a health-minded type of product, which is great, but now we're really focusing on primarily functional health benefits. And as the chef, what's most disappointing for me with that is, along this process, what we've lost is flavor. Right? So at Forger Granola, we're looking to bring a flavor-indulgent, nutrient-rich, gluten-free granola back to the granola shelf. From our 2023 Sophie winners to our original blend chocolate chili, as well as our smoky pineapple, cranberry spice, and our most recent flavor, sweet curry. Please come by booth 4502. We want to introduce you to a flavor-indulgent granola like no other.
All right, next up on the New Now Net stage, Zheng Song from Angel Planet Foods.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zheng Song. I'm the founder of Angel Planet Foods, the first plant-based Chinese food brand. So why Chinese food? I'm Chinese and I love food, and I've been making food for my family for over 20 years. Do you know that Chinese food is Americans' favorite cuisine, followed by Mexican food, based on research of analyzing Google search. Each month, about 3.3 million people search for Chinese food and buy Chinese food on the internet. So why plant-based food? I was first inspired by my vegetarian daughter's determination of save the planet. And I want to support the younger generation's future. And for myself, I want to have longevity, and I believe plant-based food will get us there. So Angel Planet Food wants to change people's misconception that plant-based food cannot taste good, and plant-based meat alternatives are just not healthy and clean. So right now, Angel Planet Foods has 3 products made with all natural ingredients, names you can pronounce, locally in New Jersey. So we started out with Rutgers Food Innovation Center, and now our products in over 150 stores in Northeast. You can find our products in ShopRite, Fairway Markets, Dumbo Markets, Brooklyn Fair, and many more. So our products in a 9-ounce container only range from 300 to 350 calories, and we have more than 13 grams of proteins in each container. And our product has 60% less of the sodium, fat, and sugar from regular American foods, and 4 times of the fiber. And if you're a retail buyer and distributor or broker, would love to talk to you. And if you want to try some delicious plant-based Chinese food, please stop by our booth at IV15. Again, IV15. Thank you very much.
All right, yes. Thank you so much for watching the New Now Next pitch stage that was filmed earlier. 3 great people presenting their brands for the first time. Unlike my next guest, who is another Hall of Fame inductee, she's not here presenting any brand for the first time. She's been in this game for many, many years. She could teach us a thing or two about presentation and a whole lot of other subjects relevant to the specialty food industry. I want to welcome our next guest. Her name is Elisa Berry, and she is the founder and owner of Bella Cucina. Elisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. It's such a pleasure and honor to be representing Bella Cucina and being a part of the SFA Association.
It is. Yes. It's an honor having you here with all that you've done, all your accomplishments. I mean, first of all, congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. How are you feeling? How?
I will tell you, it's just, first of all, it's such an honor, of course, to be recognized by your peers and by the association.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think a lot of people work so hard at their craft and what they do. And so it's nice every now and then to be recognized. And also it's an opportunity to take a pause and just reflect on where we've been, where we are, and also where we want to go. And so I'm grateful and I feel great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, congrats to you. Tell us about Bella Cucina. Started in 1994, debuted at Summer Fancy Food the year after. Give us the scoop on what Bella Cucina is.
Yeah, so I started Bella Cucina as a cafe, actually. So I'm a trained chef. I did my culinary training in California and worked out there for 7 years in Berkeley and Sonoma and San Francisco. And when I moved back to Atlanta, I wanted to bring that to Atlanta and really be inspired by my travels and living in Spain for a year. So just creating the cafe culture. And then my customers were asking to take products home with them. So thus the Bella Cucina Artful Food line was born. So that was 94, as you said. And then in 97, we actually won Best of Show for our entire line. And then 2004 again, I think. So I think we're only one of a handful of companies that have won it twice in the whole history of SFA. So needless to say, so grateful. SFA has been such a great platform for us. And so we produce now. We started with our classic pestos, which is really the foundation of our line. And now we produce over 40 different products. Everything from antipasti appetizers to bruschetta spreads to pasta sauces to dolce desserts, and everything's all natural. We manufacture in Atlanta, no preservatives, so really high quality products. Beautiful packaging.
It's making my mouth water. You describe it really well. And you are also an artist as well. Yes. I was seeing. Tell us about that. Tell us what.
So I feel like everything that I do, I'm kind of an artist at heart. It's kind of what leads everything that I do, and with an eye for
aesthetics. So marrying the art and the culinary background, it's really for me about artful living. So I really approach cooking, eating, and living as an artful endeavor. And so it's really just, and what does that mean? That just means being a little bit more conscious, a little bit more mindful, a little bit more intentional about how I eat. So not just what I eat, but also how I eat and how I live. You know, what I love about your brand, who you are, Elisa, is from what I've seen is, aesthetic. You're very intentional about your aesthetic. And as you said before, based on your experiences, what you wanted to bring back from your travels in Spain, bringing that cafe culture, which is a huge part of European living, European lifestyle. Tell us about the importance of aesthetic, considering aesthetic for, people in the specialty food industry, that aspect of business. Absolutely. So when I started, I think aesthetics were probably not as prominent or recognized as they are now. But I will say it's what sort of led us. Obviously, the quality of the product has to be exceptional. But really, when you're looking at so many products on the shelf or even here as a retailer, you're going to look with your eyes first, the packaging and how it really stands out. So we really want to capture people's attention with a care, again, to the whole experience of unwrapping the label and you have it in your pantry. You want to have beautiful things to look at. So starting with the aesthetics of looking at beautiful food, and then when you open the jar or the package, obviously you want the product to taste good. So having the aesthetics kind of match the quality of product.
So for me, aesthetics are the first thing that captures the attention. So that's why it's very important. And for us, Bella Cucina means beautiful kitchen, beautiful food. So it's beauty. So that's kind of our foundational thread in everything that we do. It starts with beauty, and I think we all could use a little bit more beauty in our lives, like that moment of just beautiful things that really enhance our lives every day.
Absolutely. In times like these, when we've been through a lot of craziness, I would definitely agree with that.
That is true. Yes, for sure. We need it now more than ever. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit more into this topic of aesthetic. I find it really interesting. Following up on what you were saying, because I want to really glean from your expertise and, from your breadth of career, and for the viewers out there, the choice, what kind of choices product owners should make, what kind of directions should they go into when it comes to aesthetic and their packaging? Minimal is better, or more ornate, or, coloring. I mean, what should they consider when they're sitting down and they're like, okay, what should this look like? What do you, in your opinion, where should they start?
Those are absolutely phenomenal questions. I love that. Thank you for providing that question so beautifully. I would say first and foremost, there can be a lot of imitation. So, and the one thing I think that has made Bella Cucina successful, and I think that brings success to most people also for the longer term, is authenticity. So really understanding who you are, if there is a person behind it, and typically there is a person or a story, and what are the elements, the values that you start with that are sort of the signature aesthetics of the brand, and starting there, because that's going to be the foundation. For Bella Cucina, we chose a designer. We invested a lot of money. I mean, I will tell you a quick story that I could not afford this designer, but I knew that it was the look that I wanted, and so I invested. I literally had a payment plan over a year and a half to pay this designer, and it's stood the test of time. It's very classic. So Bella Cucina is a classic brand with a modern style that can transcend time. So I would definitely suggest that, pulling those elements and also uniqueness. So what makes you unique? What makes you stand out? And there are, I would say, restraint is really an art. So less is more, as you said, and really focus on those elements that make you unique and distinctive on the shelf and in the store.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I want to take it a little back to your upbringing. You are based in Atlanta, Georgia. Did you grow up in Atlanta?
I grew up in Chicago,
outside
of
in
Chicago.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I also, from what I remember, you grew up in a large family. Family of 9.
I did. I mean, I have to say, I appreciate my parents more than ever as an adult. It's like raising 9 kids. And I will tell you, we had every meal at the table. And I think that ritual has really been infused in my life. All of our food was made from scratch. My mom was a great cook. My brothers and sisters are all great cooks. So food has been a part of our family for, since the beginning, since I can remember. It's been a really important part of my upbringing. And I think we don't do that enough these days. So the way that we can do that, I mean, kids running around, there's a lot more activity. It's really the quality of food that we're eating is the way that we can create that and also have those little meaningful rituals. Maybe not sitting down at the table every meal, but every once in a while and figuring out what that is for your family. That makes sense.
Right. Making that commitment,
Yes.
Which actually reminds me of, yes.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of I love what you had mentioned when we were talking about aesthetic. You made that choice. It was a risk, but you made that choice to invest in that designer. You figured it out, but you made a way. You were determined because you knew the look that you wanted. Is that kind of, it seems like it's that kind of thinking. I mean, not like you're saying take risks, but, really don't be afraid, right? If you know what your vision is, if you know that is something it's worth getting, like investment, right?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, I think that's how I run my business. I mean, I think there is a sense of science and art, going back to the artfulness and the art and aesthetics, and trusting your intuition. Nobody knows your business better than you do. So really trusting that, and also, business is about risk in some sense. And, being an entrepreneur is a risky thing, but it's also super exciting. And if you really, look at some of the facts, which is the science, and the art is trusting your intuition and knowing when to make those moves, and really, taking pause to look at your business and tap into what is aligned with your values and where you want to go and take the business, and make decisions based on that. So I always say I would much rather take a risk that I make a mistake than put it in the hands of somebody else or just go with the trend. So it's really just about stepping back and really, again, realigning yourself over and over and over with staying true to your own brand.
That makes a lot of sense, right? I want to talk a little bit about how you collaborate with retailers. It seems that, correct me if I'm wrong, for the most part, you haven't really moved into big retailers, that kind of thing, or larger specialty accounts. You kind of stay smaller. Can you tell us your strategy, about when it comes to retailers making those relationships, with that category?
Absolutely. So we tend to focus on more specialty retailers that appreciate the type of product that we have. And of course, we want to work with more retailers. That's why we're here. That's why we continue to show up. We want to continue to expand. We want to work with more retailers. And also, just coming back out of the pandemic, revisiting some of those accounts that we would like to be in, that we've been on pause, or that we haven't been in yet. So, but our products are not inexpensive. So it's a little bit more of understanding the value of our products and aligning ourselves with the retailers, big or small. The size really doesn't matter. We do have the capacity to produce, and it's really just the alignment of being able to provide a product that brings value to their customers. So we are looking and want to expand for sure.
Okay, absolutely. And last question, being at the Summer Fancy Food Show, what number show would this be for you?
Oh my gosh. I would say it's probably got to be at least 35, 40 shows. It's, obviously the pandemic, we weren't here, and for a couple other years we might have been here, but yeah, it's been a foundational place, and I'm just so happy. I cannot believe how busy this show is. It is like we are back.
Yes.
So it's really refreshing, heartwarming, and wonderful just to see that, everybody's here back and really, seeing our accounts that we haven't seen in a long time and building more relationships. So there's a great excitement. So even after 30 years, there's still more to expand, explore, and accomplish. So really excited to be here. Looking forward to.
You've done so much. You're still doing a lot, and you're going to do even more. So impressive.
Well, I hope so.
Absolutely. Elisa Berry of Bella Cucina, 2023 Hall of Fame inductee. Elisa, thank you so much.
Susan, thank you so much. Such a pleasure and honor. Really.
Thank you.
Inviting me here.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have more from the 67th Annual Summer Fancy Food Show live stream show. Stay with us. Do you want to do food and All right, we are back. Thanks so much for joining us here at the 67th Annual Summer Fancy Food Show here at the Javits Center in New York, the Big Apple. I know I keep saying those things. I can't help it. I really love all the, fancy little tried and true names for New York City. The city that never sleeps. There's another one. I have here with me a very special guest. We're going to talk about trends now. We're gonna move it into numbers and statistics. I know my next guest. That's his wheelhouse. That's his world. That's what he likes to bathe in, right? That's he doesn't count sheep. He counts numbers and surveys at night. I'm making a lot of bad jokes right now. But anyway, he is the principal researcher for the State of the Industry, the 2023 State of the Specialty Food Industry Report. Lots of good stuff in there. He is David Lockwood. David, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Always a great friend of the Food Institute and SFA. You do so much for them. So, okay, let's start with the basics. Great report, huge thing that's coming out. Tell us about this report, the importance of it.
Yeah, so we have a tried and true methodology we've been doing for 20 years. So we will interview 1,600 consumers in the middle of the year. Right now, what we're just completing is market sizing, so we get all the track sales we can get. We estimate everything we can't get, which is a lot. So online sales, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, things like that, and come up with a market size, find out which categories are growing, which ones not, what's changed in the industry, and then most importantly, how are people in the industry reacting to that? Obviously, we've had nothing but change for the last 4 years. And so it's really, I base it all on numbers, but it comes down to what are people doing about those numbers that makes it exciting and useful, right?
And the report is available on specialtyfood.com. It has just been released. Tell us about the benefits of this report. What's the the big draw here for people?
To me, the big draw is finding out what people are doing about these numbers, because the numbers aren't going to drive anything. It's how are retailers or distributors or makers reacting to the fact that inflation is up for the first time ever in a lot of people's lives. That's something to deal with.
Yes.
And there's many other things that are firsts. So learning about those firsts is one thing, but then what are people in the industry doing about it? That's the value of the report.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into the depth of the report. Let's talk categories. Which groups had growth? I saw in the report the plant-based dairy. Let's talk about that. Plant-based dairy, still looming large. Give us more specifics about that.
Yeah, so plant-based as a whole, if you've been just reading the general news, was like negative. It's been down. And so there is that, but the industry is still growing. But what you don't see below the growth rate, which was 6.6% last year, not as high as it used to be, but high, is that there's a ton of innovation. It's so much excitement on the floor talking to plant-based companies and what they're doing. And the different routes to plant-based is also interesting, right? You have fermentation, you have mycelium, you have cultivated, which has just now been given approval to be on sale for the first time ever.
Wow.
There's just so many things going on in plant-based, and plant-based dairy is the one that hasn't taken a breather. It's done well all along.
Right, absolutely. And we have, I think it's for the first time at the show, we have the plant-based pavilion.
Yeah.
And I know they were just doing a talk on upcycling, food upcycling. I know that's a growing trend. Okay, let's get into something that I've been speaking with a lot of my colleagues here at the Food Institute, other people at the show. Snacks. We are seeing so many snacks. I was just talking to a friend of mine. Popcorn, pretzels, chips, cookies. Give us your take, David. What snacking? It's just huge, right?
Huge. Well, so in a somewhat maturing industry, our top 10 categories don't change very much at all. In fact, the ones in 2022 were the same as the top 10 in 2020. But for the first time ever, chips and salty snacks jumped above cheese and meat to be the number one category. So that just says it all right there.
There you go.
And what you find is the other two categories that moved up within the top 10 are chocolate and confectionery and water. So all three of those are either convenient or indulgent or both. So that's why snacks. I mean, it is everywhere. So and it isn't just one thing, as you mentioned, the chips and pretzels and on down the line. And,
It keeps going on and on and on.
yeah. So.
Yeah, and it seems like exhibitors, the industry insiders, they're really taking advantage of that. They're I see a lot of variety, right? You see a lot of depth in variety of the products, and better for you. That's a huge thing, right? I mean, so it's like it's not just a pretzel, it's a non-GMO pretzel. It's not just a cookie, but it's low FODMAP cookie. It's healthy. They're doing something for you. Let's get into what about the shelf-stable versus refrigerated goods? Because I know that ready-to-eat, that's also been like a big category. Seeing a lot of that at the show. What's the dynamic there?
Yeah, so the three parts in the grocery store, shelf-stable, refrigerated, and frozen, have also been on a roller coaster the last 5 years.
Especially frozen.
Yeah, so before the pandemic struck, frozen had a lot of investment from grocery stores. So frozen was growing really well in 2019 and also continued in 2020 because of the investment that retailers put into it. But of course, in 2020, shelf-stable took off because people were stocking their pantries and cramming it full of shelf-stable things.
Exactly.
That tailed off a little bit in 2021. Retailers knew that was going to happen, so they really made sure that in 2021 they were ready for refrigerated to come back. Right? 2020, we saw emptiness around in-store delis and hot food sold in grocery stores. All went away, and even refrigerated foods didn't sell well in 2020 because people were afraid of anything that wasn't hermetically sealed. 2021 and 2022, refrigerated came back in a big way. This year, a little bit of a surprise to me, and I'm rarely surprised on sales, shelf-stable is growing just like it did in 2020, which makes you think, we're not in a recession, but people are acting like it's a recessionary environment, and they're stocking up on soups and grains and beans and rice and pizza, pasta. So
very interesting.
Very interesting dynamic between areas of the store, for sure.
It's like the consumers know what you're doing. They want to keep you on your toes, David. It's like, refrigerated, shelf-stable, actually.
Everybody here, yes.
All right, so final question, main takeaway of the report, bottom line, what's the most important thing that anyone can take away from this report, in your opinion?
Boy, I'd have to say, honestly, it's how the industry is reacting to inflation, because we've never seen it and never seen it this much, and it has caused people to pull back. Sales are still going up, but the way that consumers are pulling back is that they're buying fewer things. So unit sales have never declined in the history of specialty food. Last year they did. This year they're probably going to decline as well. So there's a lot of upheaval going on, and the biggest takeaway for me is, as we interviewed all of the people within the industry, the two things that came straight to the top were what people can do if you can't manage your top line sales and you can't even necessarily manage your profits that well. You're going to focus on cost of goods sold. So that's a thing you can really focus in on and do something about. The other thing is employees. Everybody discovered that in the pandemic, if you had good employees, they kept your business alive because you were asking so much of them. And now you can't afford to let them go, really. And it's hard to get people in and train. So employees are the lifeblood of businesses, and specialty food companies have really learned that. Other things have to do with pricing architecture. If you're going to survive things like a pandemic or inflation, you've got to sell in more than one channel, more than two channels.
Right.
That's how makers have changed in the last several years, is that they're now savvy to 6 or 7 different channels to sell in, from direct to consumer to your local hardware store might carry things like that. So, just so many things. The other final takeaway is leaning on your community. So specialty food companies do best when they lean on other specialty food companies to share information. So maybe you're sharing space, maybe you're sharing a favorite broker that you have, or maybe you're sharing research that you have, because as some of our interviewees said, that the biggest thing that they get is that they want to tell people that the competitor is big big candy, big condiment sellers, and all specialty food competitors actually is a rising tide. So you want to deal with your competitors as though it's a frenemy situation.
I love that. You use that term very well. Keep your friends closer and your enemies closer. I love that. Pricing, inflation, labor. Top takeaways. Always a pleasure. David Lockwood, principal researcher, State of the Industry 2023, State of the Specialty Food Industry report. You can find that online, www.specialtyfood.com. David, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. All right. Okay, well, we're going to take it over to the plant-based pavilion, what we've been starting before. The plant-based pavilion is I think for the first time, right, David? It's happening for the first time, and they just did a pop-up talk, I think just shortly before on the Upcycled Food Association. David, do you know much about food upcycling at all?
Well, I know that you're going to find something out about it at the specialty food show. You're not going to find anything about that asking in a conventional grocery store. So that's one of those things that's just a little too far down the list to cross over into conventional. So it is something that is in discussion in any retailer you go to, and a lot of the manufacturers are astute on upcycling.
I see. And from your experiences, what you've seen in the industry, what you were saying with retailers, they seem pretty knowledgeable about it. I mean, is food upcycling, is that something that could be a reality, could be part of a routine practice for industry? Because I know on a personal level, people at home, they want to try to start doing it, but can that really happen in cities? Can that really happen in businesses? What's your take?
It can happen. It's mostly going to happen behind the scenes, to be honest.
Okay.
So you're not so much going to see it on the shelves, other than a product being listed as having upcycled ingredients. So for instance, taking spent coffee grounds and making something out of them is something, or brewer's grains. Those are upcycling things that used to be thrown away and gone into the landfill.
Right.
So now they get used in ingredients in products. It's not the product itself.
Right.
So it is definitely taking off in big, but it'll stay behind the scenes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It won't become a household conversation.
I see. All right. Well, again, David Lockwood, I have to keep you. You give so much good information. David Lockwood, principal researcher of the State of the Industry 2020 report. David, thanks again. Appreciate it. All right. Now we are going over to Brittany, my producer. Yes, here we go, the plant packing district. I think there's a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we are back at the plant packing district with the very own famous Ron Tanner. Ron, what do you got for us over there?
Well, Susan, thank you very much, and it was great to hear David talk about the importance of upcycled foods and how it's becoming an important part of the specialty food industry. The Upcycled Food Association has a pavilion at the show here for the first time, and we're here with Angie Crone of the Upcycled Food Association. So explain a little bit about what your association does and the importance of being at the Fancy Food Show.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's so exciting to be here for our first ever Upcycled Food Pavilion. Our association, it represents 260 companies who are all upcycling, which means that they are identifying the surplus in the supply chain, the byproducts, the side streams, the co-products, and instead of sending them away or not harvesting them or not using them, they're actually creating new delicious, sustainable, nutritious products with them. So as an association, we help them succeed by providing them resources, a sense of community, and also our flagship program, which is Upcycled Certified, which allows them to easily communicate the impact they're having.
And how does the Upcycle Certified program work? What kind of requirements do they have to go through to be able to get that certification?
Yeah, so the Upcycle Certified program was established in 2021, and it's the first and the only third-party verification for upcycled foods. And so the primary thing that it is measuring and verifying is that when a company makes a claim that they are reducing food waste in their supply chain through upcycling, that they are indeed doing that. And so the requirements really look at what type of waste stream, like landfill or compost or animal feed, that you're diverting it to, and then what's the volume impact that has in your products. And so when you pass the verification process, you can then use the Upcycle Certified mark on your end products, and that allows you to easily communicate with your buyers and your consumers about what you're doing.
And are most of your members U.S. or do you have members in other countries as well?
Yeah, so we actually have members in 20 countries worldwide, and we're seeing that number grow every single year. We skew towards a large U.S. and Canadian based membership, but we know that this is a global problem, and there's a lot of global companies working on this as well.
Yeah, we talked yesterday to an olive oil company in Morocco, and they are actually making charcoal out of olive pits. So you may want to go up and see them.
Oh, that sounds incredible. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a smoke-free charcoal, which, charcoal has some things in it which aren't always so good for you. So, Angie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to move over to Renewal Mill, which is up the aisle here. We're going up the Upcycled Food Association Pavilion. I'm going to walk up to Renewal Mill, which is one of the founders of the Upcycled Food Association, and talk to them a little bit about what they do and about what they feel is important. So we're going to keep going here, and it looks like you're passing out some cookies. And Claire, hi. Ron Tanner from the Food Institute. I'd like to hear a little bit about your company and about the importance of upcycling to you and your company.
Yeah. I mean, I got into upcycling because I had seen in my previous business just how much can go to waste when we produce food, and that there's a better way to have more efficient food systems where we can really come in as a bridge builder to help companies that have a lot of byproducts that would be nutritious ingredients for humans and keep those in the human's food supply chain rather than having them go to waste. So I started Renewal Mill as a way for us to capture that nutrition and make sure that it makes it to people rather than going to waste.
And why do you feel that's important, and what kind of products do you use in what kind of upcycled products do you use within your products?
So I think one of the reasons that it's the most important is that the food system is an incredible lever in fighting climate change. So because of the inefficiencies that we have in food production, food waste is a pretty major contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions. And so we have this ability to fight that in a way that's very tangible and can be very delicious. And you can be interacting with it, which is very fun, and be making a real difference with the choices that you're making in terms of reducing food waste. So we work with primarily with non-dairy milk manufacturers to take the pulps that are left over from oat milk production, soy milk production. We take those pulps and turn them into a shelf-stable flour. And then we use that flour in our line of baking mixes and ready-to-eat cookies.
Could you show us some of your products?
I'd love to. So one of our newest products is an upcycled vanilla cake and cupcake mix. This is made using okara flour, which is the flour that's made from the soy milk pulp that's left over when soy milk is made. And we made this in partnership with Perfect Day. They use precision fermentation to create a protein that helps make this a very fluffy, delicious cake mix without any sort of animal protein. So it's a vegan, gluten-free mix. Just add oil and water, super easy to make.
So Claire, thank you very much. You can eat cupcakes and help the planet at the same time. What else could be better than that? Great, thank you. And with that, we're going to go back to Susan.
Tanner over at the Plant Packing District. That was wonderful, getting a taste of what was over there. And we're not going to stop right now. We're going to keep going with this on-the-ground reporting because that is what you want to see. We're going to go right over to Jordan Wickland, who I believe is having a final time at the Beverage Pavilion with, many a libation, right, Jordan? What are you seeing over there?
Hello again, it's Jordan Wickland live, day 2 from the Beverage Pavilion of the Specialty Food Association. Things are hopping, it's the busiest day of the show, and I am with Reagan Taylor of the Mingle Mocktail Company, a better for you sort of NA cocktail mixer. The company from Philadelphia. Reagan, how goes the show?
It's going so well so far. We're having a great time, Jonathan. So excited to be here, and we cannot wait for more. Yeah.
We were immediately attracted to the wonderful display, of course. And tell us a little bit about your product.
So we are Mingled Mocktails. We are a non-alcoholic sparkling cocktail, and we are full of fun fruit flavors that are light and easy to drink. And we're low calorie, sweetened with organic cane sugar, and made with natural ingredients.
The non-alcoholic market is a $900 billion market right now, poised to only grow up to over $100 billion by 2030. It's good to get a part of the pie, but how did you guys get started?
So my mom actually founded Mingle in 2018. We went to Whole Foods, which is funny because now we sell in Whole Foods, and we got a bunch of stuff to juice and make a non-alcoholic cocktail for her girls' weekend that she was going on, and she felt like she didn't really have a good drink option that's non-alcoholic, low calorie, low sugar, and easy to drink all night long. So we made the first Cranberry Cosmo, and from there, here we are.
I used to be a bartender in the heyday of the Cosmopolitan, and it's just come such a long way, especially in the NA space. So it's the start of summer, we're out, it's probably prime time for a brand like yours. What's next and what's on the horizon for Mingle?
So we're launching our summer pool variety pack very soon. It's available for pre-order on our website now, and then we actually have Bethany Frankel coming on as an investor, and she'll be on the Today Show tomorrow talking about it, and we're very excited about that.
That's very exciting. Live from New York, we got Bethany Frankel, Mingle Mocktail, and Reagan Taylor. Thank you so much. We're going to keep rolling this way. It is the loudest day of the show. Of course, it's the busiest aisle imaginable. Debuted in Vegas and perfected in New York, the backwards walk. So here we are. I'm going to move past a live demonstration. Boba tea to better for you cocktail mixers. It goes on and on. Adaptogens are popular. Drinks. Now we are going to go from a to the heart of Texas. I'm here with Michael Rousseau, the Bill's craft beverage company. Me, and how can I get a hat?
Definitely have a hat waiting back there for you.
Rocket Pop Sarsaparilla Birch Beer business.
Yeah, just being at these live events for 20 years, hearing feedback from customers, and they want those nostalgic flavors that really pair well with food and celebrations, and flavors that help commemorate the moment. And those authentic flavors like root beer, rocket pop, sarsaparilla, birch beer, stuff you had when you were a kid, an orange cream soda after the baseball game, just like fun stuff that evokes those nostalgic memories.
Yeah, no, fantastic. So where are you guys found? Are you retail, wholesale, D2C, everything?
Yeah, we are an omni-channel brand. Events are our core. You can find us at 500 fairs, festivals, conventions. And then pandemic, we shifted to e-commerce. We have a big Amazon business. You can find us on Amazon, drinkwildbills.com. And then hundreds of independent accounts, and starting to work with ShopRite, Hy-Vee, the Fresh Market.
Less a brand than a platform. That's extremely exciting. So what's kind of on the horizon? I mean, what excites you? What do you see here? What do you hear in your segment of the market?
So there's a lot going on. I always joke around, like, if you're looking for an adaptogen, mushroom, functional soda, we're not the ones. We're unapologetically craft soda, pure cane sugar. And it's a treat. It's not an everyday beverage. It's something to enjoy the moment, savor the taste. That's why we're selling in the food service channel, and people are buying a gourmet burger they want to pair with a gourmet soda.
Right on. It's sold in single bottles, 6-packs, by the pallet.
We got single cans, individual cans of our most popular flavors, and then 4-packs, and we're working on a variety 8-pack, so you'll be able to get a little bit of everything.
Any flavors in the hopper that'll be debuting soon, or what's next for you guys?
So Dave is really, we might be working on a cheese-flavored soda over. No, I'm kidding. We are doing a pickle soda for a special event called Picklesburg in Pittsburgh and the Big Dill Pickle Festival in Maryland. But working on some fun seasonal flavors for next spring. their secret though. So.
Always good to leave them hanging. Well, I look forward to my invite from Wild Bill's to come join you at the Pickle Fest. Michael, thank you so much. Well, that is it thus far from the Beverage Pavilion. There's lots to see. There's more to try. There's lots to do. And we hope you enjoy the live stream and join us tomorrow all afternoon from New York City.
All right. Thank you so much, Jordan Wickland. That was an excellent look at the Beverage Pavilion. I am going to wait on that cheese-flavored soda I think they talked about. But yeah, that was a great look at all the wonderful products that are happening over there at the 67th Annual Summer Fancy Food Show. And, here at the show, there are so many products that have been, displayed, on display over the years as well as this year. And, here at SFA, they do have a way to recognize brands that have really, stood the test when it comes to quality, when it comes to taste, when it comes to passion, about the brand itself. It's called the Sophie Awards. And every year, the Sophie Awards get handed out to certain individuals in each category of specialty food, that seek to honor those that, really work extra hard to put out a special product. And I am so happy that we are here to feature on our show one of the Sophie Award winners. I'm here with Joan McIsaac of Effie's Homemade. Joan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Susan. This is a great opportunity.
Oh, well, it's a great honor and a pleasure to have you here. You were just mentioning to me an 11-time Sophie Award winner, Effie's Homemade.
Yes.
Just well done. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Now, tell me, Effie, first, congratulations on yet another. Yeah, that's important. Having a mic. Now, tell me, Joan. So, first of all, congrats on the Sophie win. And tell us about Effie's Homemade. And tell us about the corn biscuit, which won the Sophie, the Gold Award, was it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, so tell us about Effie's Homemade.
So,
let's put the mic up a little bit. There you go. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay.
Effie's Homemade, we're a biscuit company, really a tea biscuit company. We launched in 2008 with my mother's oat cake recipe from Nova Scotia. It's a type of product that is lightly sweet, can be enjoyed any time of day, and it's a very versatile product. Aside from being very simple in preparation, it's very authentic tasting and really is it hits the core when people eat it. It really resonates.
And there's your website's
it
gorgeous.
Really resonates. And the wonderful thing about the corn, I believe that even the consumers are looking for things that are not highly processed, simple ingredients, good quality butter, good ingredients, all prepared, put together, and this crunchy, delicious biscuit. And it can be enjoyed with cheese on it, or it can be enjoyed just with a cup of tea or coffee. So there's a lot of versatility, and that's basically the line of our biscuits.
Well, it sounds absolutely scrumptious. But what I want the viewers to know is the story of Effie's Homemade. I think it's a lovely story. Tell us about that.
Okay. Lucky me, I grew up in a household where we ate oat cakes as a child, and it's my mother's recipe from Nova Scotia. My mother is Effie. And when we decided that we were going to launch this consumer packaged good company and start a business, I knew right away I wanted to start with my mother's oat cakes because they were just so unique and real and true. I don't know how to explain that. And so we knew we wanted to start with that. We launched the company, as I said, in 2008. And once we started selling it to stores, it was amazing how many people were getting back to us, and it was a hit. And we realized, let's come out with other biscuits that follow the same vein of a lightly sweet cookie cracker that can be enjoyed any time of day. And, that was really sort of my mother's oat cake is the inspiration for the rest of our company, and the way a simple biscuit can be so, satiating and authentic for somebody.
I love that your mother's recipe was, the starting point, the jumping off point for, just a lovely line of biscuits and cookies and crackers. It's a great story. It's a great story. I feel like, there's authenticity, behind the product. There's a natural passion that you have that I feel like shines through. What else do you think specifically makes Effie's Homemade, really stand out amongst the rest? Tell us about that.
Well, as I mentioned before, it is that our biscuits are enjoyed maybe just with a cup of tea, or they're enjoyed with cheese on top of it. We're making a really great bite for a cheese platter. What stands out is, aside from the flavor, it's also sort of the simplicity of the product, that it's 7 ingredients are in our oat cakes. It's not over manipulated. It's a very special small batch made product. So I think that resonates with consumers. They're looking for not highly processed foods, and I think that really resonates. The true story comes through.
That's great. You mentioned small batch production.
Yes.
Let's get more into that. What do you mean by small batch production?
When we make our product, I started at home and I'm rolling these biscuits out on a counter, and then you scale up. And when we make our biscuits now, we can't make our batches really very, very large because we're using a cold butter in our process. It has to be handled very little, just like maybe making a pie crust at home. You know how tender that can be. So we have to keep our batches small. And so instead of making big, large vats of our products or our oat cakes, we're making smaller batches and just processing that way. It just keeps the product quality, of the product together.
I see. That's so interesting. You had me at butter.
Yes. Yes. And we use butter. Yes.
So, Effie, Joan, let me ask you, in the past few years, I was just speaking with a previous guest about this. We have seen an amazing rise in the snack category in particular, right? Cookies, pretzels, chips, it runs the whole gamut. And it's not stopping anytime soon. What are your thoughts on that? As a product owner of, cookies and biscuits and crackers, what does that mean to you?
For the snack category? Yes. You have to be flexible enough to fit into that category. Some people may consider something a snack and some people may not. But we all know, especially post-pandemic, that snacking has become very popular. Instead of eating larger meals,
yes,
people are eating a few smaller meals a day. Something like our biscuits fit into that category because just a few, are satiating. It carries you over. Cheese on it, peanut butter on it, have it with your yogurt, whatever, and just a small snack during the day. So I think you have to be versatile as a company in order to fit in with the trends. And I don't think that's really so much of a trend that's going to go away. I think that our consumer habits are changing, and snacking is actually probably good for many people. And especially the way we work at home. A lot of us working at home, you're just grabbing food really quickly. So make it as healthy and nutritious as you can.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, Joan, tell us about, we're here at the SFA Fancy Food Show. You have told me before that, you've been with SFA, for many years. What does the association mean to you? How has it benefited you over the years?
The SFA, we joined, we started a company, as I said, in 2008. I think 2009 we became a member, maybe even before that. But it has an invaluable amount of resources that are available to members. And we really took advantage of that, especially with launching our company. They offer this whole series of classes on how to start a business, how to finance a business, how to market a business. So those were really fabulous programs for us. We took advantage and went to all of those, especially when we launched. And then it gives us an opportunity to connect with fellow manufacturers and just, I don't want to say fetch, but it's an opportunity for us to talk, communicate, get together, just talk about what's going on in the industry. So that, and then it's also they offer the shows. They're orchestrating these shows where it gives you an opportunity to meet with your buyers, and those are the people that you need to meet to grow your business.
That's what I've learned. And the few times I've been here, I'm like, ooh, it is about the buyers. You got to attract them. That's the name of the game.
You got to get the buyers here, and and this is the opportunity. Because they're coming to find new products, to work, whatever they're here for. They're here for a number of reasons, but, you try to make your best to try to meet them while they're here. And, it's just been a great opportunity for us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Joan, I want to ask, because we are here in the New Now Next Pavilion, so, this is where a lot of exhibitors, they're first-time exhibitors. Mm-hmm. They're starting out with their products, right? They're babies in the specialty food industry. I would love to ask you, looking back when you were first starting out, do you remember what it felt like when you were first at your first fancy food show, setting up your booth for the first time? What was going through your mind?
Oh, boy. Okay, that's a good one. Yes, I definitely remember our first one. We got our booth designed, and that was a big deal. Just trying to understand. We never did a trade show.
What is a booth? What do I do?
What's a palette?
Right.
On the product, the palette. It's great. I do remember that we brought a lot of product, more product than we probably needed. I remember that.
So good lesson learned. First lesson.
And I remember we were sampling our oat cakes that first year. And they were an amazing hit, and I don't want to start, but, and then we had all these cheese people coming over and saying, oh my God, have you had it with this? And then they were spreading it around, and then, the next thing you know, we were getting into a lot more cheese shops, and, it was just a great opportunity, but I remember we brought way too much product.
What did you do?
Well, we used to, I had a Toyota Tacoma, best truck ever, and, just put it to rest last year. That truck was what, we brought everything back with us. We pull up in the front of the here.
Oh, it's part of Effie's homemade history.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
And we'd unload up front here, and then we'd find a place to park, and then, and then we took it back with us. So I just remember there was a lot of extra product. But we learned. We learned about sampling. We learned about, best practices at the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also understanding how to work the show. Too.
Absolutely.
That's really important, especially for a new exhibitor.
Yes.
Yes. You could spend all your time talking to somebody who's a manufacturer in the business, but really you want to be talking to the buyer. And,
absolutely,
we're here for a reason.
Yes, absolutely. Joan, final question.
Yes.
You're here alongside all these other products, in these pavilions. What are you most excited about, being at the show?
Oh, I will tell you that lately I am learning a lot about chocolate. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to go through the show at all, but there's there's so many beautiful artistic chocolate makers out there.
Yes.
And not just beautiful chocolates, but just, single origin chocolates, really authentic and just one source. So I'm learning a lot about that. So I've been going around, and then when you try them, you can taste all the different parts, you can tell.
It's not just sweet. It's like you taste notes of things.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Taste Colombia chocolate. You try this chocolate from Ecuador, and you try it, and you can taste the differences. It's almost like wine,
Oh, totally, totally. I think they're probably going to make a new, maybe like master chocolatier, like sommelier, maybe have a different certification. Well, Joan McIsaac of Effie's Homemade, Sophie Award Gold winner, right? Corn biscuits in the, what category was the biscuits category?
It was
the crackers.
Cracker snacks.
Yes, excellent. There you go. Congratulations on your win, and thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it. This has been great.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to turn over now to our very own Ron Tanner. We're going to get back out on that floor again, and we're going to see what he's doing. I believe, Ron, you are at the State Pavilion. Show us what you got, Ron.
Yeah, I am. We've moved from the upcycled food pavilion to the Virginia State Pavilion. Virginia is one of the original states that have been exhibiting at the Fancy Food Show. I hate to date myself, but my first Fancy Food Show was in 1987, and there was a Virginia pavilion here in 1987. So they've been around, been a great supporter of the associations for many, many years. We're here with Pierre Abrachacra, who is the past president of the Virginia Specialty Food and Beverage Association, and also the owner of Firehook Bakery, which makes some wonderful crackers, which I can get at my local supermarket in Virginia. So Pierre, could you talk a little bit about the importance of the association?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for being here again. The Virginia Specialty Food Association was key to us starting to participate in the Specialty Food Association Fancy Food Show. We've been exhibiting for about 10 years. That's where we launched our brand. And the community of exhibitors that were part of the association that helped us kind of launch in this industry was pivotal in us, in our launching our brand and distribution. And the support that the Virginia Department of Agriculture gives our association and our members and supports us to be here at the show has really proven to be critical for us to kind of be part of this larger industry, but still be part of a small group where we can support each other. And today there's a lot of new brands that are here for the first time, and also brands that have been here for years.
I've seen beyond the show, the Virginia Specialty Food and Beverage Association. You've developed a wonderful network of people that help each other. And in the specialty food business, which is a competitive business, but also a friendly business, that's really important. So what are some of the programs you do away from the show to help people really learn how to operate their businesses better?
Yeah, so a key program that we started is a mentorship program, where new members can reach out to other members in the association that have a little bit more experience to support them in whatever part of their business, whether it's production or marketing or sales, wherever they need support, just to have some basic questions answered.
And Pierre, I understand you have a new product at the show. Would you like to show that to us?
The new graham crackers that was developed during COVID around the fire pit, and we're happy that it's now launching in distribution, being supported by many new distributors and many new independent customers that are already selling it, and it's doing very well.
Congratulations. Will I be finding that at my local food city soon?
Yes, you will.
Okay, great. Thank you, Pierre. We're going to be walking down all the way down to the other end of the Virginia Pavilion. Paola's going to be walking behind me. We're going to visit a Sophie Award winner. As we get down there, you can see we have lots of different companies here. We have lots of peanuts in Virginia. So you'll see peanuts companies, you'll see barbecue sauce companies, you'll see some shrub companies, some pastry companies. So a lot of variety of products which come from not the state of Virginia, it's the Commonwealth of Virginia. There's a few Commonwealths in the United States, also Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and I believe Kentucky. So you can see lots of peanuts as we're going through here, lots of grains, and we're heading to visit Clark and Hopkins, which is a multiple Sophie Award winner with wonderful hot sauces. And we're going to be coming up here, and we're going to be speaking with Brandon Clark. So, yeah, hello. You can finish up if you want. Okay. So Brandon, Ron Tanner with the Food Institute. I'd like to hear a little bit about your company and about the importance of exhibiting at the Fancy Food Show for you.
Yes, I'm Brandon with Clark and Hopkins. So I study different regions of the world, take their ingredients and put them in our bottles. So our sauces are more of a culinary sauce than just a topical hot sauce, and that you can cook with them. So an example of that is you take a can of coconut milk, reduce it 3 or 4 minutes, add Carola to it, and you have a curry in less than 5 minutes. So we are also the only hot sauce company to have won the Sophie Award more than one time. So this year we won with Ethiopia, and then we also won with Laos in 2020, and then in 2019 we won with Assam. So we've also been on Hot Ones, which is YouTube's #1 show twice, and we're really excited to be here at the Specialty Food Association. It's been a fantastic experience.
So how do you study the hot sauces of the world? Do you go there and taste the products and bring the taste back to Virginia?
Yes, in some of the countries I haven't been able to, but this one, for instance, is Oaxaca. So I traveled to Oaxaca City, and this is mole based with the addition of mezcal, and it's an unbelievable place. So what we do is we're always authentic to the region.
Show us one or two of the other ones, and I'd like to see you taste one of your hot sauces. I'm sure you can taste it easily without puckering up.
So this is one of my later ones here. I created this one a couple of months. Dao pepper, which is a beautiful pepper. It's not quite as hot as a habanero, and has a garlic to it, and it's like to make a ceviche. But bright and sunny like Florida. And then here we have Calabria, so this is of Italy. So this has Calabrian chilies, olives, basil, garlic, and then also porcini powder. And it was all hot when season 16 left. And it is fantastic with a little bit of olive oil on bruschetta. It's fantastic.
How much hot sauce do you eat in a day?
Way too much. Probably half a bottle a day, depending on what I'm cooking. But the great thing is we have some different regions that I can make just about anything with these hot sauces.
And I see you have a Ukraine hot sauce here. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So we are working with Jose Andres' World Central Kitchen. We actually got an amazing quote down here from them. And all of the proceeds are going to help feed folks in Ukraine. And World Central Kitchen has served over 200 million meals in Ukraine. So we're excited to be able to help in some way.
Do they utilize your hot sauce in the meals, or how does it work exactly?
Well, I hope that they do. We actually sent some of the Ukraine hot sauce over to Poland for the World Central Kitchen volunteers, and they sent me photos back of them eating with the Ukraine sauce, so that was pretty exciting.
Well, thank you very much, and it's great to see that you're able to be doing good at eating hot sauce at the same time. So congratulations. I see your wonderful Sophies. Paula, do you want to show the Sophies over here? You can see multiple Sophies, and this is the hot sauce man, the man who makes all the great hot sauces. So with that, we're going to wrap up, and now we're going to go and we're going to visit some other companies here. So let's head over to the peanut company. Thank you very much. Okay. Here, as we hear, peanuts are very big in Virginia. Hello, how are you? Ron Tanner. We're broadcasting, hey Robert Marks, we're broadcasting live here for the Specialty Food Association, and we see you have some wonderful peanuts. Which one of you would like to talk about the peanuts? Robert will talk about the peanuts. Okay. Tell us a little bit about the company and about the history of the company, about the peanut products that you have.
Well, here beside me is Patsy. She's the owner, founder of the company. I am the youngest of three of her children, and we are all three in the business right now, and I'm here, but she started in '93 and has grown the company slowly, and then in 2004 really picked up and has since taken some leaps and bounds, and we are, really truly a family business, and we grow peanuts, we farm our own land. The peanuts you see here are coming straight from our farm to your table. It's a really quality product, and that's what drives our business.
What are some of your favorite peanuts that you have, and what are some of the best sellers? I know you can't pick a favorite. You probably can't pick a favorite because you can't pick your favorite child, and I won't ask you to do that with your youngest child here because they're usually the nicest. My youngest child is the one that is always taking care of everybody else. But what are some of your favorite flavors?
My all-time favorite is our salted peanut, the sea salt, and it's just a classic version. Everything starts with that, and from that, we try to be innovative with the different spices that we want to offer to our customers. So it begins with that salted peanut, and so I go back to that. The sea salt and black pepper is one of my favorites. And then you get into the chipotles, love them, sriracha. They're all really very good. The butter toffee on the sweet side is my favorite. And we've also, this year, come up with a few new flavors, which are our...
Why don't you show us some of the new flavors? And I want to see you try one.
Oh, you want to see me try one?
Well, you can make your son do it, but I'd like to see one of you try it. Okay, Robert, thank you. Okay.
Our mixers that we have formulated. Salted caramel, we have maple bourbon, pumpkin base, and this one, which we call spice. They have been very popular, along with our maple bourbon butter toffee. So we have so many to choose from. We're proud of the number of offerings that we have. Robert, go ahead.
Come on, Robert, show us how good the peanuts are. Okay, he's going to try the peanuts. That's a good choice. Black truffle and sea salt.
So you have truffle, it's a new flavor for us, and you can see the size of the peanuts. You know, it's a really superior nut, but here we go. You know, I've been trying these for 33 years, almost, and they're still delicious.
Well, Robert, thank you very much. There's not a whole lot of people who have grown up on truffle peanuts, so you can thank your mother to that. And with that, we're going to head over to a commercial break. Great. Thank you very much.
All right, that was the great Ron Tanner at the State Pavilion. Got to try those peanuts. We will be taking a quick break, as he said, but we'll be back more for some great content here at the Summer Fancy Food Show, 67th annual. All right, we are back. We have a few more minutes of the show, but they are action-packed, let me tell you. And I want to first bring up one of the many lovely comments and questions that you all have been leaving. First of all, I apologize because I should have been sharing the spotlight with you guys, the viewers and the commenters. Don't stop. Keep it coming. Keep the comments coming on all the social media platforms. We have a question here from Kelly Beaton. What are some of the better for you foods that you have tried at the show so far? Unfortunately, I've been working very hard getting you guys this live stream coverage. I haven't been able to try much, but I can tell you what I've seen. Better for you is a category that we have seen hardcore at this show. Non-GMO, low FODMAP, clean, healthy, sustainable. I mean, it runs the gamut. A couple products I've seen at the top of my head, Belly Welly snacks. Belly Welly, they were putting out like a cookie that they said was actually all the things I just mentioned: low FODMAP, non-GMO, in the form of a cookie. Snacks, huge that we've seen. I've seen a lot of popcorn. I've seen a lot of mixed nuts. One product I love in particular is Wild Orchard Regenerative Teas, a wonderful product. I guess I shouldn't be, because all the products are wonderful. We're working with SFA. All the products are wonderful, but this is definitely a nice product. It's net positive for the environment, meaning that what gets put into the soil growing the tea, when they harvest it, it leaves nutrients in the soil, so it leaves the earth better than where it left it. And of course, it tastes wonderful, very clean tasting, nice, smooth variety, nice smooth flavor, especially with their matcha flavor, which is usually, matcha is known to be a little bitter, but this is very smooth. So those are just some of the products that I've seen and that I've tasted a bit of. And there's many more. There's many more products. Please keep answering those questions. I promise I will go back on the show floor and I will try many more products for you. I promise. But please keep it coming. Keep the input coming. There's comments. Please ask questions during any of our on-the-ground coverage or floor segments. We promise we'll put it up on the screen as best we can. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Jordan Wickland in the beverage pavilion. He's back at the beverage pavilion because he just can't get enough. One sip and he's just got to keep going. So Jordan, what do you have for us? Sock it to us.
Hello again. It's Jordan Wickland with the Food Institute at day 2 of the Fancy Food Show in New York City. I'm with Chef Joe of Serendipity just outside the Deli Pavilion. What do we have here?
We have our iconic, famous frozen hot chocolate.
Was this a concoction from Chef Joe's mind, or did you inherit this?
I inherited this because this guy is 69 years old this year.
Well, tell us a little bit about Serendipity as a restaurant. Where can it be found here in New York City, and what are you known for?
Sure. Well, Serendipity has been around for 69 years. We opened in 1954. We're famous for this drink, frozen hot chocolate. We also have incredible food, great burgers, salads, foot-long hot dogs. And we are an iconic place in New York.
What's a day in the life of Chef Joe in the kitchen like?
It's crazy. It's crazy. We see sometimes 1,200 guests a day. So it's a constant struggle to keep up and keep serving the best that we can.
What's the kind of one thing from your perspective from behind the counter that you wish every customer knew about Serendipity, or maybe just dining in New York City in general?
Dining in New York City, everybody should know that we work really hard here in New York to give everybody an incredible dining experience, and we hope to keep doing that.
If I needed a really good slice of pizza, would I find one at Serendipity, or would I have to take Chef Joe's recommendation?
You wouldn't find it at Serendipity, but New York is full of the best pizza in the world.
Thank you so much. This is Jordan with Chef Joe from outside the Deli Pavilion at the Fancy Food Show.
All right, Jordan, thank you so much for that. And that wraps up day 2 coverage live from New York City Javits Center, the 67th annual Summer Fancy Food Show, brought to you by the Specialty Food Association in Javits Center, New York, New York. I'm Susan Choi, your host, Digital Media Director of the Food Institute, working in partnership with SFA, reminding you to stay tuned because tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, not 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be resuming with day 3 coverage of this wonderful show. We're going to have some really special things for you. You got to watch. We're going to announce, we're going to show the announcement of the Sophie Award Product of the Year and New Product of the Year. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be great. We're also going to have coverage from the Fancy New York Pitch Slam that we talked about earlier, brought to you by Natural New York in partnership with SFA. And we're also going to have the actual product winners from the Sophie Awards at New Product of the Year, and Product of the Year with us, as well as the Pitchland winner. We just have so much. I can barely get it out of my mouth correctly. Bottom line, don't miss day 3 coverage. Thanks again to our platinum sponsor, Atalanta Corp. AtalantaCorp.com for all of your specialty food, imported specialty food needs. The country's largest privately held specialty food importer. They want to be part of every food experience. All right. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.